All right. What's up, everybody? It's Andrew from Rotunes Reviews, and today we are coming back at you with another episode of the Wall of Soundtrack, and we are covering Spider-Man No Way Home, and I have here with me Cy Shackelford from the 301 Colored Commentators podcast. What's up, Cy? How's it going, man?
Andrew, how you doing, bro? How you doing?
Doing great, man. Excited to do this episode today. Was really looking forward to it.
Me too, man. This has been the best Spider-Man film of all the ones that have been released since 2002. This is the best one. And I've been telling people this is what happens when Disney/Marvel Studios, when they get their characters back from the other film studios, they can do a way better job. And to drive the point home, they had the other Spider-Mans up in this film too.
Yeah, I mean, you have three really good actors, Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, man. It's like every Spider-Man fan dream, right? I mean,
It is, yeah. And Holland, I gotta say, ever since Holland's introduction into the MCU as that version Spider-Man, I gotta say he's been the best one. But juxtaposing him with Maguire's take and Garfield's take, it made me reassess my take on those previous Spider-Mans as well too, considering how long it's been since they've assumed the role. And they were good in this film, so good, especially Garfield.
yeah, he's an amazing talent. I mean, I think underrated too. I don't think a lot of people know a lot of the great films that he's done, like Social Network. I mean, he was in Hacksaw Ridge, right? With what was that? That was a Clint Eastwood film.
That was a
Which
Clint
really
Eastwood
good.
film, yeah. And what's it called? Social Network. I loved him in that. It's like, I'm not coming back for 30%. I'm coming back for everything.
Everything. Yeah, he slams what's that? Mark Zuckerberg's laptop down.
He's
Yeah.
wired in. Is he?
He's like,
Yes.
hey,
How about now?
I
You
love
still
that.
wired in?
I love that scene where he just like he starts going at it with Sean Parker, who's played by Justin Timberlake, and Justin Timberlake just did such an amazing job.
He did.
with
He
that.
made us hate. He made us hate Sean Parker. Like, what's it called? In the scene where he basically gives like two middle fingers to Eduardo Saverin, Garfield's character, saying,
Yeah.
"Here's your $19,000." But I wouldn't cash it though. I drew it on the account. He froze, and he motions like he's gonna punch him, and Parker flinches. And looks at him. I like standing next to you, Sean. Makes me look so tough. He called you a bitch in so many words, and everybody saw it.
Yeah, he did it right in front of everybody in the office. It was just crazy, but
and the
yeah,
guards.
man.
And the guards that were escorting him out, they didn't even bother to stop him neither. It's like, I hate this guy too, so I'll let you have it.
Yeah, they didn't even get physical or anything.
Nah,
So that was funny. But great film. If you haven't seen Social Network, check it out. An awesome David Fincher film. But back to this film again, Spider-Man No Way Home, a huge hit. I mean, this movie made $1.6 million off of a $200 million budget.
Correction, 1.8 as of today.
Oh, 1.8, sorry.
Yes.
Still a ton of money. Just a huge success. And man, I wish I could have invested some money into this movie, right? Or gotten some of the points on the back end, because I would have been a wealthy man after that. But
oh yeah, you would have been, no doubt. Some background on the film. It's the third film of the Marvel Cinematic Universe's Spider-Man franchise and the 27th MCU film overall. It's part of phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is going to be from 2021 up until 2023. Yeah, and this film, like Andrew said, it was a gigantic commercial success and critical success too. You got Tom Holland reprising his role as Peter Parker / the Amazing Spider-Man. Marissa Tomei as Aunt May. She's a fan service Aunt May, to tell you the truth, yo. Because Aunt May is usually an old lady, a geriatric, elderly old lady. So seeing Marissa Tomei making her MCU debut as Aunt May in Captain America: Civil War in 2016, I was like, wait a minute, you're Aunt May now, but you're a MILF and you don't even got kids in real life.
Well, the thing that's crazy is that she's an Academy Award winner, right? I mean, she won for My Cousin Vinny. Right?
My Cousin Vinny, yeah.
And then she was in The Wrestler too, and
for which she also got an Oscar nod for that. She's very versatile. She was in Anger Management with Adam Sandler. She was his fiance in there.
That was funny. That was a funny movie.
That's funny as hell.
Yeah, Jack Nicholson is great. But yeah, this movie was huge, and I think
Well,
fans loved it. I mean, they also had cameos. What from Tom Hardy? You know, at the end, he was what Venom, right?
yeah, they had him in there too. Yeah, I was not expecting that in the post-credit scene. Euphoria's Zendaya, she reprises her role as MJ Michelle Jones, not Mary Jane, mind you. Benedict Cumberbatch, he's in here as Doctor Strange, and he plays a big role in this film.
Yeah,
John
and
Fab,
then yeah, I was going to say John Favreau as
mhm.
oh, what's his name?
Happy Hogan,
Happy Hogan. Yeah, he was the bodyguard, right? For
Tony Stark.
yeah, for Iron Man.
Hmm. And the villains, of course, you got Willem Dafoe. He's been a fan favorite. He's been a fan favorite for decades now, reprising his role as Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin. Jamie Foxx reprising his role as Electro from the Amazing Spider-Man franchise. Alfred Molina, who was in the trailer as Doc Ock, Doctor Octopus. Who else? Thomas Hayden Church as the Sandman.
Yeah, and this was what the two films before this, right? That were both done by John Watts, right? As
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
Spider-Man Far From Home and then Spider-Man Homecoming.
yeah. Spider-Man: Homecoming. That was the first. That was the first Spider-Man film of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they all have a home theme in the title. And when the first film dropped in 2017, I'm like, is this a sly reference to Spider-Man finally coming home back to Disney/Marvel? But then they tried to add a plot in there involving Spider-Man's high school having a homecoming dance. So I'm like, okay, trying to throw people off. Okay, but I know what y'all meant.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy about this soundtrack too, which we'll get into in just a second, but all the New York musicians that were in this soundtrack. I mean, you know, I think it obviously a nod to New York City, and
Yeah,
obviously the heroes and characters are from New York. So I just think it's really cool how they did that. It was real neat.
I do too. I do too. They really make their nods to the comics and how the continuity, Marvel continuity, the epicenter of it is usually New York City.
Yeah,
And
which is a great backdrop, right? And
it,
place
it
for
is
a film.
it is it is a great backdrop. I mean, Marvel, they always try to, I mean, ever since they dropped, the Silver Age dropped in the 1960s, it was like Marvel advertised themselves as the world outside your window. Yeah, they try to be, even though they are superhero and supervillain fantasy, they do try to add real world elements in there. More so than DC Comics, who have made up cities like Metropolis and Gotham City.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always nice to, like, actually have something that feels authentic, like, you know, so
It does, man. It does. And also the director, you mentioned John Watts, right? What's it called? Yeah, he did direct the first two Spider-Mans for the MCU, and he's supposed to direct what's it called, the MCU's Fantastic Four film in another few years when they make their MCU debut.
yeah, and that's another film, right, that's just doing very well. I mean, they all do pretty well, but,
The Fantastic Four films, they were garbage. I mean, what's it called? The first two films, and then the reboot that they did in 2015, where Michael B. Jordan played the Human Torch, and before that, in the previous ones, where Chris Evans played the Human Torch. And interesting postscripts of both of their careers is what's it called? Both of their comic book film careers is that they switch over to the Marvel Cinematic Universes, and their stock just rises.
right.
He's
So, did those films do well financially though, or
They did well financially, but critically they suck. They were panned, and for good reason.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah, and yeah, like I said, when Chris Evans and Michael B. Jordan came to the MCU, it's like, oh, they're like, yeah, their careers took a better shift, and they play their roles in the MCU well. Captain America, Killmonger, I can't see nobody else in those roles but those guys.
Yeah, and then, speaking about actors, going back to Dafoe,
Hmm.
Willem Dafoe, I didn't know this, but I was reading about it. They used the de-aging process in the post-production for the film. So they did a similar technique to The Irishman. Remember how they kind of de-aged
Hmm.
Pesci and De Niro?
Yeah,
I
they
thought that
did.
was
Yeah,
pretty cool. They're really like pushing the limit there with the technology. I like it.
I do too. I do too, especially considering they've gotten better with it over the years. Because I remember in 2006, I want to say, when the X-Men Origins Wolverine movie dropped. and they well, they didn't try to de-age Patrick Stewart, but they tried to superimpose his face on the Professor Xavier's character, and that was just horrible as hell. Now, when they did it a few years later in 2009 in Tron Legacy with Jeff Bridges, people say that looks freaky, but I'm like, that is cool. He looks almost just like how his character did in the original Tron damn near 30 years ago.
Yeah, I liked it too. I just think
Yeah.
well, it also had that kind of digital futuristic look to it that Tron was are like, always known for.
It
So
did.
it worked, even though it was newer and kind of CGI ish, it works. So
It works, and they've gotten better at it. A plot point for Spider-Man, right quick, in case our viewers don't know, without giving away spoilers, even though at this point anything I say can qualify as a spoiler. The plot basically is it deals with where 2019 Spider-Man Far From Home left off, right? Yeah. The end of that film was Spider-Man's public identity as Peter Parker. I mean, his secret identity as Peter Parker being revealed to the public by J.K. Simmons's his character, J. Jonah Jameson. He's reprising his role from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man franchise here in the MCU, which made me think, holy Christ, they're doing the whole parallel reality cinematic universe theme already, right? But as it turns out in No Way Home, excuse me, that's not what they were doing. It's just the MCU has their own version of J. Jonah Jameson. It just so happens he was played by J.K. Simmons here as well too. Yeah, so Spider-Man, he wants the public to no longer know his secret identity, so he teams up with Doctor Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme, to erase everybody's memory of his secret identity. But the problem is, Peter, he wants too much caveats in there. He botches the spell and brings over visitors from other realities, other parallel universes who know of their reality's version of Peter Parker. Hence why the villains are back here. Willem Dafoe's character, the Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Electro, Sandman, etc.
yeah.
And the plot is he's got to send them all back to their respective universes before they cause more harm here.
Gotcha. Yes. Thanks for that. So let's get into this soundtrack, man.
All right, let's get started.
It's awesome. The composer for this film, Michael, I think it's Giacchino.
Yeah, Michael Giacchino. Yeah, he's
Giacchino. He's done some big stuff. I mean, he did what the Lost soundtrack or score. I mean, Medal of Honor, Call of Duty, Alias, which was a pretty popular show for a little bit. That was with Jennifer Garner.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a lot of good stuff there, and I think he does a really good job building the tension, making these scenes feel really epic. With the instrumentals, with the percussions. I don't know. I really, when I listened to it, I thought it was really good.
I thought so too. He did the scores for the previous two MCU Spider-Man films as well too, and he managed to incorporate, or rather interpolate, the scores, the previous film composer scores for the other Spider-Man franchise films from composers like Hans Zimmer, James Horner, Danny Elfman, Christopher Young, and Giacchino. He also did the theme for Doctor Strange, his film as well too.
Okay, and you said he was building off of some of the stuff that Hans Zimmer did, which I love his stuff. I mean, he did a lot of work with Ridley Scott, with Gladiator. He also I also remember his film. He did some work with Tony Scott, Ridley Scott's brother, and
R.I.P.
Yeah, and rest in peace. He was a great director. And he did Days of Thunder, which I thought he did a really good job. The music in that film is awesome. I just love the sound of the race cars too. I mean, like the sound design in that film is just incredible.
My favorite Hans Zimmer score soundtrack has to be Backdraft. That was ill.
Okay, yeah, that's a good movie. That's the one with De Niro, right? De Niro and
yeah, he's in it, but the top billed characters are really Kurt Russell and William Baldwin.
Right. Yeah, that's a good film. That's a classic. So, looking at some of these songs that he did, the first one's World excuse me, World's Worst Friendly Neighbor. Tough
Tongue
for me to
twister.
pronounce that.
Tongue twister. Yeah.
Yeah.
Try say it 3 times fast.
Exactly. This one was really good. Like I said, the build up, to this song is great, and I think it fits really well with some of these scenes, especially the action ones, right? Like where there's a lot of stuff going on. But I just think with that and Shield of Pain, right, was
Yeah.
another one where there's just a lot of there's a lot of build up, especially at that, what you said, like the 2-minute 56 mark,
Yes.
where
Yeah.
there's the Green Goblin's attacked.
Yeah, that's where I remember that scene when I saw the film. I've seen it twice already. I know some people who've seen it, like who put me to shame in my own family, put it 4 or 5 times already.
Oh wow.
But Shield of Pain, yeah, I remember that scene because it's where Peter is reconnecting. He's reconnecting with all the villains who are cured of their criminal tendencies, temporarily cured. It's string driven, especially when they begin to stir, the strings begin to stir right at the 2-minute and 56-second mark. And that's when the Green Goblin, that's when he attacks. The string buildup just lets you know that that's what's going to happen. Yeah. And the one that Andrew just mentioned before that, of the World's Worst Friendly Neighbor. Yeah, got that first time. No problem.
You're better than I am.
It's less than a minute long. It's dark, pretty ominous, claustrophobic almost. And there's very moody brass and percussion for it. And it's used at the opening of the film, right? When Peter is staring at disbelief at the news report that revealed his secret identity to everybody, and how he's continuously getting surrounded by so many people, hence the claustrophobia part.
Yeah. So you feel like it really captures that shock and awe kind of factor, right?
Oh yeah, it does, especially for the audience when we saw it at the end of Far From Home.
Yeah. So then we have what, Arachnoverture.
Arachnoverture, yeah.
That's 10 minutes. 10 minutes long, and that's played at the closing credits, right?
Yeah, it's played in the closing credits, the second half of the closing credits. Yeah. It's because it's 10 minutes long. That's what gives it like one of those like old 1970s art rock, prog rock feel to it. But it has an orchestra instead of anything that's electrically powered or any kind of lyrics that are telling any kind of narrative.
Gotcha. Yeah. And then so you said it had that kind of post rock kind of feel, or prog rock.
It does. Yeah. I mean, the shifts that it takes with the orchestra. Yeah. And it's pretty eerie right up until it builds up until the 420 mark.
Okay. Yeah. So, great stuff there. I mean, so is he going to do, do you think he's going to do the next film? I mean, like, did Watts use him in the
previous
film, or?
Yeah, he used him in the previous 2 Spider-Man films that he did. Yeah, he was a composer for those. He was a composer for Doctor Strange in 2016, and I think he's going to do the sequel for Doctor Strange. It's going to drop this May, and the Spider-Man film, that even though they said this is going to be the last one, because of the success of this film, critical and commercial, they got to do a 4th one, especially considering how the movie ended. Yeah, the plot is open-ended at this point.
So you think there's going to be another one?
Yeah. There's going to be a 4th one, just like there's going to be a 4th Thor.
Okay, cool. Well, that's exciting. Let's go into this next track here. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, the next track. Yeah, the Spider-Man theme that he did, the interpolation of it, the Spider-Man, that one. Yeah. Yeah, he used it. Yeah, he used it in the trailer for Far From Home. And it has elements of the original Spider-Man theme that was composed for the Spider-Man cartoon back in the 1960s. The one by Paul Francis Webster and Bob Harris.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's fan service for the comic fans and the old school heads. Really, it's like, yeah, you can't do Spider-Man without having that theme somewhere up in there.
Nice. All right, so we go to our next track. It's by Talking Heads. It's called I Zimbra. And this one's pretty cool. I really liked it, and I liked it for one other reason is that he David Byrne from Talking Heads, he
Yeah,
did a collaboration with DC DJ band Thievery Corporation. I don't know if you've heard of them.
I know
And
them. I know them. Yeah.
yeah, it was a song called Heart's a Lonely Hunter. It's really good. But I think it was cool how they were used on this soundtrack, and they're also another a New York band, right? They were
Yeah,
the
they were.
influential.
They were all members. They were all former art students that became a big part. They became a big part of the New York punk scene, and later pioneered the '80s new wave scene.
Okay, yeah, and this song is played in the opening credits, right? Like,
Yeah, in the opening credits, when MJ and Peter, they're starting to get surrounded by reporters, and like they're getting brushed by reporters or bystanders that are like, "Oh my God, he touched me! Did you see that? I can sue him! Oh my God!" Like, we got to get the hell out of here. So he flings his web and takes MJ, and they're swinging through the city just to get the hell away from people. And Izimbra's playing in the background.
okay, very cool, very cool. And then
It reminds me of a Paul Simon, like a Paul Simon kind of production, because of all the international influences with the conga rhythms and the African pop music that it has up in there.
yeah, that's what I thought was the most interesting part about this song is it, it was different, right? Like it
Yeah,
wasn't, and it almost sounded like a Thievery Corporation song, honestly, like with the beats and the percussion.
right.
It really reminded me of that when, and maybe that's why they did a collaboration together. I don't know, but it's definitely something I wasn't expected, but I love the percussions. I love the I just love how it works, man. It works perfectly with that with the scene, and yeah. And also, another I'm really honestly surprised that they didn't use like a Nas song on this soundtrack because of like all of the New York, artists and musicians that they gave a nod to, right? Like,
Right, and given Marvel's the hip hop variant covers they did back in 2016, and Nas, his Illmatic was one of them, right? They
yeah,
could have they could have used some New York rappers for this. I mean, they use like one or a few of them, but it's like, come on, come on, come on! All the New York rappers that I know that are Marvel fans that would have gladly let you use a track. Y'all could have. Come on, Disney, y'all could have done it, and stop saving your soundtrack money for the Guardians of the Galaxy movies too.
exactly. So our next track, Liquid, the song's called Scraper.
Scraper, yeah.
This one was like a really obscure track, honestly. Like, never heard of this band. Um, I guess they're using more. I mean, it does have a lot of percussion. It's strong in the percussions and the beats. I mean, and it seems like they kind of stick to that theme, right?
Yeah, they
Throughout
are.
the soundtrack.
They are sticking to it, yeah. And you did mention earlier that most of the artists on here are from New York area. Yeah, Giacchino, yeah, he's technically the only outlier. He's a Tony Soprano type. He's from Jersey.
Okay, nice,
Hmm.
nice. Yeah, I mean this band again. I've never really heard of them until I had to kind of research them.
Same
But
here. Same here.
apparently they did this. What they were known for this song called Cavern, right? Which was
Yes.
they sampled what the song White Lines by Grandmaster
Melly Mel.
Melly
Melly
Mel.
Mel, yeah. But they did so without permission, yeah.
Did they get in trouble or did they start some sort of
It was
feud?
There was some legal trouble, I think. Yeah. And of course, yeah, there is a feud when you use something like that without permission in the music industry, like
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Coolio and Weird Al Yankovic. But it's like in that case, Coolio, he admitted years later, I was stupid for even starting a feud with him or getting mad at him for doing that. I could have collected a check right then and there. And besides, the parody was funny.
yeah. It was Weird Al's done some funny stuff. I
He
like
has.
the Nirvana one that he did.
Oh yeah, smells like.
Smells like I forget what it's called, but it was really funny. The music video, and they like copy. I think they used the same like janitor from that.
from the smells like Teen Spirit video. Yeah, the one that's like.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that Weird Al is a real creative guy, man. I gotta, tip my hat off to him. He's
He
done some really good stuff.
his parodies are funny. He even does like them like frame for frame at times to get them just right. Like in the video for a UHF, how he parodies all those 80s music videos, like Robert Palmer, Prince, Billy Idol. I'm like, this is how do you not laugh at this?
Did he do what was that song by Robert Palmer? It was it Another Kiss, I think, or something, or
Addicted to Love is what it's
Addicted to
called.
Love? That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, he did a parody of that video in UHF. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. All right, so we go to Beastie Boys is the next track. No Sleep Till Brooklyn. This is a real famous one.
Oh
I love
yeah.
it. It's super aggressive. I mean, and it captures a lot of that. Like I feel like they kind of experimented with rock and rap, right? Like, I mean,
They were
bars.
yeah, the Beastie Boys, yeah, they were the first white rappers in hip hop, right? And they were originally a punk band, but they when they switched over to hip hop, they still maintained a lot of their punk elements, particularly the guitar riffs and whatnot, and the aggressive punk attitude too. And that's exemplified in No Sleep Till Brooklyn. That's from their 1986 Def Jam debut album, License to Ill, and produced by Rick Rubin, who is known for being one of the main producers who had the idea of merging rap and rock together.
Yeah, Rubin's such a iconic producer, right? I mean,
Yeah, it's like
produced
Rick
so many great bands like Rage Against the Machine, AC/DC, Beastie Boys, like you said.
LL Cool J,
Yeah,
Run DMC, produced 99 Problems by Jay-Z.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, he's a hell of a beat maker. Getting him back to produce a hip hop beat now is pretty rare. But when you do, and you see the words produced by Rick Rubin, I'm like, okay, and those words I trust. He knows what the hell he's doing behind the boards.
yeah. I mean, I think he's made enough money where he could retire, but probably doesn't do much now. I think he actually does a podcast on YouTube.
Every
Might be
celebrity
on-
every celebrity's out doing a podcast now. Some of them are really good, like Noriega, the rapper Noriega from CNN. He has Drink Champs, and they call themselves the most professional, unprofessional podcast, and that's true.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah, and I've seen that before on YouTube. That's pretty good. They have a bunch of really like well-known rappers on there. I think they had Master P on one episode. That was
Mhm.
pretty cool.
They had DMX on there before he died. That was a good episode.
Yeah.
Alicia Keys, MC Search. They got mad people up on there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good stuff. And then the Rick Rubin one's really good too. I mean, they have just like it's exactly like that one. Essentially musicians, I think it's called On the Record or something. I think that's what it's called. Or
It's funny how Rick Rubin used to be. Have you seen how he was when he was young? When he was a young man, first starting out with Def Jam, him and Russell Simmons.
no, I haven't seen a picture of him back then.
He was a lot more younger, of course, but a lot more boisterous, heavy New York accent, getting in people's faces and whatnot. As he got older, right, it was like late 90s with the sunglasses, got a little portly and that long, like wizard type hair. What's it called? He's like more Zen like Buddhist like.
Yeah, he just seems so chill now.
Yeah,
Like,
very chill. Yeah. I'm like, so when he did 99 Problems, I'm like, you did that beat? You're chill as fuck. How did you know what? Never mind. It's dope.
yeah, that song is amazing. But yeah, this track, I mean, I feel like we were talking about Beastie Boys the last time we did the album review for Illmatic, because maybe it was because they were both on the same label, right? Nas was on Def Jam.
Yeah, Nas, he later got on Def Jam later in his career, around the time when I want to say when Jay-Z became president of the label.
Okay.
Yeah, but Nas, he was on Columbia Records at first. Yeah, but
Okay.
we probably mentioned it because Def Jam was one of the labels that Nas shopped his demo to, but they refused.
Okay.
Yeah, Russell Simmons said he sounds too much like Cool G Rap, and even though Cool G Rap's dope, he doesn't sell no records.
But later on, right? I mean, I guess he was wrong, right?
He was wrong. Yeah, Nas has commercial viability. I mean, Illmatic, it went gold upon its initial release, but his sophomore album, it was written. That wasn't his star power was enough so that the album went at least double platinum.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah, this song, This song is great. I mean, looking at the lyrics too, like, you said you said that the Beastie Boys, what they were talking about touring a lot, right? They were touring a
Yeah.
lot at this time. And then
Mhm.
we go to the lyrics here. Ain't no faking your money. I'm going coast to coast, watching all the girlies shaking while you're at the job working 9 to 5. The Beastie Boys at the Garden, Madison Square Garden, cold kicking it live.
Live. Mhm. Mhm. Yep, the whole song is just talking about touring. It's not about New York really, but Brooklyn people they took it as kind of like as something of an anthem at times. Yeah.
Nice,
So
nice.
if you play this or like what's it called or Hypnotized by Biggie in the middle of Bed-Stuy, they'll know what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the film though, in this film, it was using the scene where Flash Thompson, his character, where he walks into a donut shop, the donut shop where MJ works at, and he's bragging about his acceptance to college, to a New England college, mind you. And but he replaces it in the song as he's singing it. He's like, "No, sleep till Boston," because he's going to
Just
MIT.
MIT, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's cool. Yeah, Boston, another great band that
Oh yeah.
feel like kinda, they had like that one album. I'm blanking on it, but it had, the classics like Smokin' and what's the other one, the real famous one,
More than a feeling.
More Than a Feeling and Rock and Roll Band and all those like I feel
There's
like they had like one good album and then I think I think the lead singer like passed away or something.
I don't know. I don't know. But that first album, that was the definition of like arena stadium rock, like Foreigner.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. So
Yeah. And the Beasties, yeah, they're broken up now too. I mean, they were Ad Rock, Mike D, and MCA, and MCA died of throat cancer in 2012. So the band, yeah, they broke up from that.
okay. Yeah, I remember that. That was yeah. When was that? Was that a couple years? Was that like 3 or 4?
2012, 10 years ago.
Wow,
Yeah.
man.
And yeah, they kept getting innovative with their albums. I mean, their first album, they were basically like some sophomore punk New York kids. Second album, that's considered their best production wise. The Paul's Boutique, the way the Dust Brothers put the production on there, that cut paste method from everywhere, a drum beat from here, a movie sample from there, and weaving it all together so it sounds coherent. Yeah, they couldn't make that kind of an album today. It would cost too much money.
Yeah.
It's sample clearances. They didn't have sample laws back then.
So it was just like a free for all, right?
Pretty much, yeah, until Bismarck E, somebody sued him and what's it called? And it led to a new president in the music industry paying for sample clearances.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's intellectual property, right? I mean,
It is
yeah,
intellectual property, yeah. I mean, if somebody's using my material without permission, yeah, I would want to get it. I want a piece of it too. It's like, yeah, okay, cool. Just pay me.
yep. Pay me and we're all good.
Mhm.
So the next track, Odyssey, Native New Yorker. This was this was played on the cell phone, right? Was it
Yeah,
of what was it? Whose cell phone was that? It was
Happy Hogan.
yeah, Happy Hogan, which is played by John Favreau.
Hmm.
Um, it was amazing, by the way. I like John Favreau. Funny
Yeah,
how he made that cameo on The Sopranos. That was funny. That one episode. I think it was like the first season, right?
yeah, it was. Yeah, Favreau. He'll always have points for me. He saved the Star Wars film, not the film franchise, but the Star Wars franchise for me. I mean, him doing the Mandalorian and the Boba Fett Jones on Disney Plus. Yeah, those are better than the Star Wars movies that have been coming out in recent years.
And he's directing those, right? Like
Directing them and writing some of them. Yeah.
yeah, he's just super talented. I mean, I feel like he can do it all, man. He can act, he can direct, he can write.
Hmm.
I couldn't believe this. He was actually in Rudy. You remember that film?
Yeah,
Rudy,
with
the
Sean
football
Astin. Yeah, with the Notre Dame. I'm here to play football for the Irish.
Yeah. And guess who else is in that film who I didn't even notice was Vince Vaughn. Vince
Yeah.
Vaughn was in that movie. So the two actors from Swingers.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and the Goonies, right? Because
Uh-huh.
wasn't Sean Astin in the Goonies?
Yeah, Sean Astin was in the Goonies. Yeah, he was Mikey. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny.
Random tidbit there, but yeah,
That's funny.
back to the track.
I did
Yeah,
not. Yeah, I did not know this track right here was a cover, a disco cover of a Frankie Valli, lead singer from the Four Seasons, of a song that he released the same year. I did not know that at all.
yeah, me neither. but it is an interesting track. Again, another New York band, right?
Odyssey, yes, yes, they are. I've heard this sampled before too by other New York rappers.
So why do you think they use this in the scene? Like, was it to kind of be goofy or
A little bit, and it kind of that I don't want to say they're hitting us over the head by using mostly New York artists, but what's it called? It's on the nose using a song called "Native New Yorker" in here, considering Parker, he's from Queens, and most of these and the whole plot takes place in New York City. So
yeah,
eh,
okay. And then um I mean, they definitely obviously references to New York City in the lyrics too. You grew up riding the subways, running with people up in Harlem, which is a
Northern
part of,
Manhattan, yeah,
yeah, down on Broadway. You're no tramp, but you're no lady talking that street talk. You're the heart and soul of New York City. Well,
and
there it is, right?
and considering what's it called, the Happy Hogan he was dating Aunt May during the film, it could be his ringtone for her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then it was also we were talking about this. You said it's kind of a nod to many of the Marvel superheroes, right? Which are
Or the
native
land.
New Yorkers.
Yeah, yeah. Most of them are native New Yorkers. Yeah, and they mentioned several details and New York landmarks as well too.
Yeah. Very cool. This next one I thought was pretty cool too, by Danny Asuna, Bailando Cumbia.
Mm-hmm.
And this was he's a composer from Texas and does Latin music and instrumental compositions. And this was used in the credits, right?
Yeah, it was used in the post credit scene where Tom Hardy's his Venom character appears. Yeah, in the post credit scene, it reveals that okay, the spell, Doctor Strange's spell, brought everybody over from parallel universes who knows of Peter Parker. So yeah, it makes sense that Venom is here too. Yeah,
Do you think do you think the next Venom movie will be better? Because I know you had told me previously that the last Venom movie was not very good, right?
I didn't like it personally. I mean, some people told me that the sequel that came out in 2021, Let There Be Carnage, where Woody Harrelson plays um, the offspring symbiote of Eddie Brock's Venom symbiote, right? Father son, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
And they said that was good. And the post credit scene in there, it relates to the one that's in question right now for No Way Home. So yeah, based on how the post credit scene went down, yeah, they're gonna try to do a Venom movie where it's like how the Spider-Mans were done, like a joint venture between Sony and Marvel. Like Sony, you sit back, we'll do all the work. You can make your money by sitting in the cut.
Nice.
Mhm.
Did you think Tom Hardy was, right for the role as Venom or
He's right for the role, but it's the plot really that just that irked me because it's like Venom was a villain at first, but throughout the film franchise, they've been making him into how he later became in the book, the quote unquote lethal protector, an anti-hero.
Gotcha?
A- and and making him into like a justice crusading reporter. Yeah, he's a reporter in the book. Eddie Brock is a reporter, but it's like his career, you can't tell his origin story without Spider-Man, basically. Right. That's why I was kind of a bit salty on the first Venom film. It was like, how are you going to do this without Spider-Man? Because his career as a reporter, as a journalist, went downhill because of Spider-Man. Right. Yeah, he got a confession from a serial killer called the Sin Eater. Right. But then a few weeks later, Spider-Man got a confession from the real Sin Eater, which made Eddie Brock a laughing stock. He lost his job at some major journalist firm, and it was forced to do sleazy tabloid reporting. So he held a grudge against Spider-Man for that.
So do you think that that's what's going to be? Do you think he's going to be part of the next plot, like the plot line for the next Spider-Man? Do you think that they're going to?
A version of him that might exist in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yeah, just like how we saw in this film with Maguire and Garfield their versions of Spider-Man exist in other universes. The MCU may have their own version of Venom, which may or may not look just like Tom Hardy. But yeah, I think the next Venom film will have that plot element up in there.
Okay. So you think the main kind of weak part of the Venom film was just the writing?
Yes, yes, and they made Venom too funny. It's like too out of control, like a pet that hasn't been housebroken.
Nice. I like that reference. So yeah, this track, I think it's different. You know, like you have, I mean, it's definitely a different genre. But you know, I just it's they kind of mix it up with this track, and I like how they kind of use it, like you said, in the credits, the ending credits there. Um, and the word by bailando cumbia actually translates to dancing Colombian.
Oh yeah, hmm
So I don't know how that ties in, or if there's any kind of special meaning in that, but
I don't think I don't think so either. I think they just needed like some bar music, I guess.
yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's like it's like what's his face? Kurt Vonnegut once said when people try to read too deeply into his work, he's like sometimes a blue shirt is just a blue shirt.
Yeah, doesn't have to mean something.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So, all right, then we go to our last track here by De La Soul, The Magic Number.
This was a big surprise, but it also very appropriate. Yes, it was used right at the ending credits, and it's definitely a reference to all three Spider-Mans appearing in the film.
Yeah, the number 3, right, which
Uh-huh.
is in the lyrics.
Three is the
3 is
magic
the magic
number.
number. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a sample right then and there too. And this song, "The Magic Number," is from De La Soul's 1989 debut, "3 Feet High and Rising." And like the aforementioned Beastie Boys album, "Paul's Boutique," which was released in the same year, the sampled material on this record, it's another example of an album that cannot be made today, not without it costing a fuck ton of money.
Just because, like you were saying, the copy and paste, how they did that, just would
That
take too long, right?
yeah, I mean, not that it would take too long if you know what you're doing, but yeah, it would take too long to get all the samples cleared. Yeah. Yeah, that's where it would take very long at.
Yeah.
And and also the difference between 3 Feet High and Rising and Paul's Boutique is that this album right here, the sampled material. I mean, at a time when people were more content to sample James Brown's catalog or Bob James, Prince Paul, the producer for De La Soul, he took on guys like Steely Dan, Led
Led
Zeppelin,
Zeppelin, yeah.
hmm the Steve Miller Band, Richard Pryor and Sam Kinison records, and even Schoolhouse Rock for this song right here. "Three is a Magic Number" by Bob Dorough.
That's really cool, and it's different, right? Because like you said, they were doing more kinda R&B sampling of
Yeah,
James Brown, and then, you know, De La Soul goes the complete opposite direction, right? And
yeah,
they
yeah, they were the weird guys of hip hop at the time. It's like they're three suburban raised Long Island guys from Long Island. So it's like, and a lot of that shows in their music. They're not trying to be tough. They're not street dudes either.
yeah, they were just trying to be, you know, creative and
They
and, you know,
they were dudes that I could see myself growing up around, like the black dudes, the black kids from my neighborhood that had multifaceted influences.
yeah, and it's like, you know, they were just trying to be clever with it, right? And just be
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they were clever. They were unconventional, and they knew it. Like what's it called? Like even the rhyme schemes for this song right here, "The Magic Number," right? Like they don't rhyme. They don't rhyme the last word of each line. They don't rhyme it with the next word and the next. They do it with the one with the next. They do it with every other one. Like the way it starts off is like this: "Difficult preaching is Posthumous pleasure. Pleasure in preaching starts in the heart. Something that stimulates the music in my measure. Measure in my music raised in three parts."
yeah.
And no one would,
So
no
they're
one did
doing
that
kind of
before.
something different there with the lyrics, right? Like,
Yeah, no one did that before. So when you hear it, it's like, wait a minute, that doesn't rhyme. Oh, you gotta keep up with it.
yeah. Yeah, do you were mentioning how they were sampling some of the rock bands, you know, like Zeppelin and Steely Dan.
hmm
I'm blanking on the name of the group that did that collaboration with Aerosmith, and I feel so foolish right now.
Run DMC.
Run DMC, yeah.
hmm Walk This Way. Produced by Rick Rubin.
Yeah. So, do you think that they were kind of, like, influenced by Run DMC, or was Run DMC before? I'm trying to remember the
They were,
timetables here.
yeah, they were before De La Soul. They were a good 3 years before De La Soul made their
Okay.
debut.
So
Yeah,
maybe
Ray.
De La Soul was influenced by them. I don't know.
I would say I say more than any other group, Run DMC is responsible for the hip hop's image. Because before that, they were like wearing disco clothes and whatnot. Run DMC made it cool just to like be yourself. Yeah,
Yeah.
be street image or just be yourself. And De La were definitely themselves.
Yeah. And I mean, they weren't afraid to mix up hip hop and rock and roll, which I think goes so well together.
I mean, yeah, I mean they were just they were weird guys. They were just unconventional. I mean, the first album they have, it has like a progressive rock feel to it in terms of how it is thematically. It's loosely based around like a game show, but they got like there's lots of inside jokes, playful lyrics. Um they're not trying to be gangsters or nothing like that, even though on tour those guys are known to be pretty tough if you fuck with them.
Well, hey man, this was awesome, man. I enjoyed going through this soundtrack. This movie it's awesome. Excited to see what they do in the future. I mean, I think there's just tons of possibilities
There's
with,
tons of things they can do with the Spider-Man character now. I mean, given how it ended, he has a chance to start over pretty much. And what else has been going on? Oh, for Phase 4, Marvel may have to step it up a lot because I say that because James Gunn, right? Have you watched the show Peacemaker on HBO Max?
no, I haven't gotten a chance to see that.
It's a spin-off from the Suicide Squad movie that James Gunn did last year, right? Yeah, DC Comics is one of theirs, but it's irreverent, rated R, and Marvel needs that in order to keep it going, right? Because like they had the Netflix characters with like the Daredevils, the Punishers, the Luke Cages, but they gotta make those rated R, bring them back over to Disney Plus, but make them rated R.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like have like a Disney adult version of Disney Plus or whatever where you can do those at, because I know they're still kind of kid oriented.
Yeah. Do you think they'll do another Deadpool?
Yeah, that they have to. They have to.
Yeah, that I'm looking forward to that. But
Yeah.
hey man, what else do you have going on with the podcast, like the
Oh,
Colored
sorry.
Commentators podcast?
Oh, we just got done filming our third episode last week. Yeah, we did it at PG Plaza Mall at a third Space Lounge. Yeah, we talked about the movie Scarface, the TV series Ozark, and up until the first half of the final season that aired a few weeks back, and the Wrestler, the Dynamite Kid. Yeah, so we're continuously making strides with the 301 Colored Commentators podcast. Me and my friend Anthony.
Yeah, and you can get that pretty much everywhere, right? You know,
Every,
Apple Podcast, everywhere.
everywhere now, everywhere. Yeah, everywhere you find Road Tunes reviews, Wall of Soundtrack, you can find 301 Colored Commentators there too.
Awesome, man. And I'll put a link in the video description to the podcast. And
Thank
for all those who are watching and listening, subscribe to the podcast. He's got a YouTube channel too, 301 Colored Commentators podcast. I'll put a link in the video description as well, man.
Thank you.
But this was awesome again, man. And let me know when you guys are doing an episode, and if you need another guest, I'll be happy to join.
Oh yeah, we'll be doing guests. We'll be having guests up on there in the future. Yeah, and you're more than welcome. We'll send you the invite.
Nice. All right, man. Well, this was a pleasure.
Always.
What do you think we're gonna do next? You want to do maybe another Marvel movie, or are you thinking something else?
Oh, we do get a lot of play when we do the Marvel films, Marvel soundtracks, but the trick is which one do we do? Could do the Doctor Strange one. I mean, that's going to come out this year, and that's like a horror film as is. And
Okay.
Sam Raimi's behind that one too. He's directing it.
All right.
So yeah, we can do that one. Shoot.
Yeah, we'll do that one.
All right,
man. Well, we will do that one, and thanks for doing this again, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right, next time.
All right, take it easy.
Later.